What's up, YouTube? What's up to all my subscribers? If you're not subscribed and you're watching this, hit that sub button. I appreciate all the love and the support on the channel. So what we're gonna be talking about today is buying your first gun. Exciting as hell, I know. A lot of people like to rush right into it and get whatever their friend said was the best. That's a big don't. Never let somebody else's opinion be the reason you bought a firearm or you buy a firearm. So, for example, your best friend, your significant other, your family member, whatever the case may be, could own a Glock 26. Now, they swear up and down on their life to you that that gun is what you need, it's what you want, it's the best gun in the world, etc. The reason I say do not base your decision off of what they're saying is for the simple fact that, yeah, that's a perfect firearm for them, for that person that is telling you that information. That does not necessarily mean that it's going to be perfect for you and suit you as well. If you have the opportunity to, I know my range does it. So if you do have the opportunity, go to the range, use one of their range guns, test fire the gun first. My range does a 10 for 10 where you pay $10 and get 10 rounds of whatever you want, and you get to shoot whatever gun you want. So go and test fire that gun first before you just jump right into buying it. Because I tell you what, you're gonna be mad as hell. You pay $600-700 for a gun. You go to the range, you throw 50 shots down range, and you don't like that firearm, and it just does not suit you. You're gonna be pissed. You know why? Because depreciation on firearms is like $100 a bullet, damn near. Not actually, but you put one round through that gun and come back in and try to sell it back to the store because you don't like it. I promise you, they're gonna give you half of what you paid for it, and that's all seriousness. I'm not playing. Even if it's one round and you come back in with it, it's considered a used firearm now in the shop's eyes. So that's a big don't. Is don't go based off of other people's opinions. And if you can, I can't stress it enough. Please try to fire that gun before you just jump right into purchasing it. Because I'm telling you, you might not like that firearm, even though your best friend, etc., likes that firearm or loves that firearm. Another big thing is I would not recommend buying a newly released firearm. And by that I mean a manufacturer just released to stores, it's been advertised. And the reason I will say this is because you could be one of the very first people who owns that firearm. You get that firearm, you don't know what problems are going to come with it. And the reason I say this is because it comes from the experience and watching other people's videos. The Hellcat, when it first came out, it had that trigger issue to where if you put a little bit of side pressure on the trigger safety, it was not going to pull. Now, that's one. And I'm pretty sure that, I don't know. Yes, this is a clear firearm. I'll show y'all the GX4. I'm pretty sure had that issue as well with the trigger, not to where like if you put side pressure on it, but it would pull, like it wouldn't pull or it wouldn't reset or something. Nothing in the chamber, no mag. But yeah, so don't buy a newly released firearm because I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but the P365 also had issues. I think could be dropped and fired, something like that. I don't know if that was the P365 or whatever. I know it was a SIG though. But that comes with newly released firearms. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know the problems that firearm can come with. Let a couple other people buy it first. And I know it's kind of a little messed up to say, but let a couple other people buy it first. Watch some reviews on YouTube before you jump right into it. Can't stress that enough. And this comes to literally going into the shop and buying your first gun. They're gonna hand it to you over the counter. They're gonna drop the mag. I'm gonna say this is more of like a gun shop do and don't, but rack it. Make sure that there is nothing in the chamber. You're new to firearms. If there's a bullet in that chamber, it just so happens to be one. You really don't want to be the dumbass who just is there to to purchase their first firearm and shoot through their glass display or their floor, through their ceiling, or somebody in the fucking leg. You really don't want to do that. And when it comes to them handing it to you, feel that firearm out. Don't just instantly, oh, I love it, and hand it back, and I'll take it. Feel that firearm out. Really, really hold it. Rack it back. Slap the slide. Pull the trigger a few times. Not excessively, but pull the trigger a few times. Get a for that. Get a feel for all of that. Don't jump right into buying it after you just saw it when it came out and he was about to hand it to you. You didn't even let him put it in your hands yet. You're like, oh, I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, the reason I say that is because if you feel a firearm, the big thing is if you're feeling and holding a firearm and you don't like the purchase you have on that firearm, you don't like the way the stippling feels. It could be something as petty as that. If you don't like anything on that firearm, the slide release, like I said, any little aspect of that firearm, if you don't like one thing, hand it back. Tell them you're gonna go look at something else. You'd rather look at something else. That's the proper way to really buy a firearm that you like. Don't go based off of looks. Don't go based off of anything like that. That's stuff that does not matter when it comes to firearms. I've seen some pretty ugly guns that fire better than some of these better looking guns. So looks is not everything. Yeah, okay, it's cool to have a firearm that looks good, etc. But you can mod it up yourself. Throw a few little things in there, change out the barrel colors, whatever. Put a nice grip on it. Like I said, I mean, I got two of my firearms have the handle grips. I love the little color change on it, and I love this. I hated the stippling on the GX4. I will say that, and I didn't really register that into my mind until I fired it. So, and that was more for the fact of my situation. So, but that doesn't really apply to everybody. I will say, just really do your research on that firearm that you are looking into buying. Don't jump right into it, though. Don't jump right into it. If that gun has never been fired by nobody else, it's a newly released firearm. Don't do it. It's really not worth having to lose that much money over you jumping straight into something, because you're gonna lose a lot of money. Not a couple bucks. No, you're gonna lose a couple hundred when you go to sell it back. I got my G26 used, and that OEM barrel is probably still brand new. It probably had 50 rounds through it when I bought that gun. And the reason I say 50 rounds is there's no wear and tear on it at all. The ramp's still everything. Like the feed ramp, everything is still flawless on it. So I got that for $299 straight off the used shelf. And another thing too is if you do have the funds, get something that you know, yeah, it might cost a little more. It's worth spending that extra $100 to have a very solid firearm. Glock is a very solid manufacturer of firearms. I would strongly recommend getting a Glock. Usually, honestly, everybody's first gun is a Glock. For me, it wasn't, because I'm not personally just a Glock fanboy like a lot of people are. I mean, yeah, I love their firearms, very reliable. I will not say I've ever had an issue with a Glock. But I will say that Glock's not going to be for everybody. You get a double stack. You could just not like the way it feels in your hands because it's too wide and you've got too small of hands. You can get a single stack and that might feel better for you. So do your research, really look into the firearm, really think about it. And like I said, because I'm going to say it one more time because I can't stress it enough. If you have the opportunity to fire that gun before purchasing, don't hesitate to do it. Do not hesitate at all to do it, because not everybody does have that opportunity. Not everybody gets to shoot a gun before they actually go and purchase it to know if they like it or not. So at the end of the day, if you have that opportunity, you're one of the lucky ones. So really just look into it. And yeah, this was actually my first firearm as well, y'all. So like the video, show it love. I appreciate the support on the channel, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.